So yeah, guys, Sydney finally, you know, we kind of unlocked down so we can go outside. I went to see a concert, and then went to watch the stream at Kelvin's house. And you know, I would be doing this with Kelvin, except the stream went for 1.5 hours, and we just had to go. We got work tomorrow, man. We got things to do. So yeah, unfortunately, you have to wait till Thursday to see him. But there was some like interesting stuff shown on stream. And then they kind of showed off the tournaments that is going to go on, the WGP that is going to happen in Japan, which is pretty interesting. So kind of want to talk about the tournament situation as well, like more globally versus the just in Japan. But we're going to take a look at Japan and what's happening there, right? So first off, we did get this PR pack when you buy 10 packs of Vanguard products. And why are we talking about this? It seems kind of lame, right? You know, why? Who cares? Because this pack contains the meteor. Right, need this meteor share, right? So if you buy like booster pack 3, yeah, you just buy, it's coming out there, and you can get more meteors, right? So Bushiroad knows. Bushiroad has heard you. There's more ways to get this meteor. There's probably going to be more ways to get this meteor as well, because you know it looks to be kind of integral to the Gravidia playstyle. I mean, you do put 16 in. So we might see it in like more PRs down the track. Maybe it becomes a tournament thing, or you know, maybe it gets reprinted again, right? Anything could happen. Anything can. I think that is the big thing. They're like reprinting other things. There's like a limited edition Overtrigger that is the UU Overdress Overtrigger. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But apart from that, yeah, the rest of it is just, you know, it's all about this meteor shower. So that's pretty cool. We're seeing it rise to a pretty ridiculous price for a pretty average deck at some point in time, right? But talking about meteors, right? The set 3, the booster pack 3 ride lines, new ride lines are getting support in set 4, and they're not getting like new. It doesn't look like they're getting new forms, right? Well, so far they're not getting new forms, but they're getting new support. Greedon's getting this new Desire Devil, which is like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But you know, Gravidia is getting the super meteor. It's getting maybe an asteroid, right? Or maybe this meteor counts like 5 meteors, because if you count here, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or maybe 6, maybe 7, 8. Maybe it just counts as a lot of meteors. And that kind of raises the question, how many rocks can you put in your deck? Can you put like 16 small meteors and then maybe like 4 huge meteors? I don't know. It looks pretty cool, right? That honestly looks pretty cool. So I would love more rocks in my deck, right? More rock orders. Yeah, you could just put in your order zone and just you can pop it. It counts like five things. You get the crit, double, yeah, insane. And then to round out the Flagberg Stoicheia stuff, we're getting a Mega Colony water guy. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, like, to be fair, right? Some of the Mega Colony cards, like the Mantis, has been doing pretty well in standard, so maybe we should look. Maybe we should think. Maybe this is a restandard. Maybe this makes multiple attacks. If it does, then this will be an insanely cool bug, because Flagberg still needs more ways to make multiple attacks, I think. So yeah, if they get that kind of support, they'll be good. But other than that, I like the rock, right? The rock is my favorite. What is your favorite? Let me know. Do you like rocks as well? All right. That's cool. Moving on, let's kind of talk about the tournament scene. So we can kind of look at what's been going on in Japan. Recently, like last weekend, they did a thing for Y Schwartz, where Y Schwartz, they released like a HoloLive booster box that is insanely popular, and they had like a HoloLive event. And there were like a lot of people that joined. This is in Tokyo as well. You can see in this last picture here, there were apparently over 1,000 people that joined. Now, the COVID situation in Tokyo is better than a lot of places around the world, and it's just easier, right? If everything, you know domestically, if everything's just like domestic, it's much more easier to arrange things. You know what's going on. So it's very advantageous to be able to like host bigger events now in Japan, especially like after the state of emergency that has been lifted. There's been a lot of return to the tournament scene. I know apparently Pokemon also did a very big event that also attracted over 1,000 people. So yeah, these big events are coming back into Japan. Now, we're looking at this new WGP. The new WGP is coming. This is actually the 10th anniversary, or to be more precise, 10th anniversary, because there's a double A here. Yeah. For the World Grand Prix, and this will be standard. They'll focus on standard. You know, standard is the flagship thing for WGP or for like, you know, Bushiroad right now. But looking at how it's gonna go, they do have some different ways of qualifying. Looks like there's like a pre-event that feeds into like the finals, the regionals, and then there's also like a qualifier event that also, you know, happens, feeds into the regional finals as well, and then the winners of those regionals go into the big super finals, big grand finals at Dive Angasai 2022. Which would be pretty good, right? It's pretty good. Now, anyone can join these pre-events and this district event, but I do imagine that because of COVID guidelines, right? If we look at some of the pictures at tournaments, there normally you can sit like 3 people at a table, but there's a space in between. And then when you're at a concert, you can't say anything, you can only golf clap your way. There's a lot of different COVID guidelines, at least in Japan, right? So I can imagine that the space that is available is not as high as before. That's why they have to run more like pre-events. And you know, the qualifier events will be like, sure, you can join, but there won't be as much spots compared to before. And they have to put in this extra block where like there's extra qualifiers that feed into like a smaller amount of grand final kind of thing. So there's a few more steps that kind of make it so there's just less human traffic flowing through the whole like scene, right? The cool thing is, like, it says here that anyone can join. I remember before, like last couple of years when they did the WGP, when COVID was rolling around, they did limit on who can join you. You could only join your region. If you lived outside, if you lived in a different region, you can't join another region's tournament. So just to stop people from moving around, right, and stop people from like double dipping. But it looks like, yeah, this one anyone can join. So yeah, that kind of feeds into just this little schedule here. You know, yeah, this is the pre-event, and then this is where the district of regional finals, region qualifiers, and then the big thing in there. And then they did announce that, you know, this is on like 2022 in April 29, WGP, and it's gonna be held at Big Site. So a Big Site is just it's a big site where they hold like Comic Camp and all that, and they pretty much just booked it in. So they're very confident this is going through, and it's good to see because it just means a return to normal tournaments. Now, in regards to what is happening around the world, of course, it's definitely harder for Bushiroad to manage a bunch of different countries around the world, right? Like the WGP in Japan is kind of just Japan plus a bunch of other Asian countries like China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, you know, I think Indonesia as well, and probably like Philippines get it? I'm not too sure, but yeah, bunch of Asian countries, and to be honest, if they're not able to join, then tough luck. That's just how it is. It's how it's gonna be. Still much more focused on the Japan region, and it's much more easier to just go, yeah, it's a domestic event, and these are just the guidelines, and that's how it is, right? It's very easy to work around that. But yeah, around the world, every country will have different guidelines. Australia would have different like COVID guidelines on how they can, you know, how many people can sit in an area and things like that. So it's definitely much more hard to manage, and like you know, just different countries will be at different situations regarding how COVID is impacting, right? So I definitely don't see any return to, at least for Springfest. We're still doing BRO, which is fine, but we might get BCS. I know well, I heard at least that other card games are starting to get their tournament scene together again, but they're implementing things like double vaccinations and all that, so you have to prove that you're double vaccinated. If you're not, then that's how it is. You know, too bad. That's the meta right now. I can't really say. I'm not really a doctor on, like, you know, health, but at least at best I'm a deck doctor, right? But yeah, around the world, it's gonna be tough. It's actually gonna be tough, but you know, a return to normal would be pretty good. And they might need to implement like something like before, right? Like a pre-event or something. But you know, they could get locals, like the local game stores, more involved, where you have to like qualify before, you know, you got some buy cards. Maybe instead you got qualifications to the regionals, so the regionals would actually have a small area. Like this would probably work better for big places like America, where hundreds of people join the regionals, and you know, maybe they just need to cut those numbers down by a lot, right? A lot, and that'll make it work, so they can implement another space there, going into, you know, the finals, and then the worlds they'll probably have to see, right? Worlds they'll have to probably see. Maybe they can do something like continentals instead of worlds. That would kind of suck. They did continentals before, but you know, it is what it is, right? It's much more easy to travel. Like, at least for me, you know, once things go down, I could probably travel to you know, Singapore easier rather than traveling to like maybe Japan, or, you know, America traveling to Japan, or like, you know, Europe traveling to Japan. Things like that could be tough, right? That could be tough. So in like BCS, we can be optimistic. It probably might happen based on the situation, but I think a lot of people said 2021 was going to be better than 2020, and I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything, man. I don't want to jinx anything. Let me know what you guys think. I think even if they do return back to BCS, or a lower scale down version of BCS, people still like BROs. People still like the BRO. People still like the BSFO. There's always like a downtime between like Springfest and like BCS, and the remote fights just fit in perfectly in those situations. It's a fun time. They can tweak like the rewards around, but just still, you know, just let it happen. Be a good celebration of things to come. Everyone's kind of skilled up in terms of tech, so that should be kind of good too, right? Always interesting to see, and seeing like new fresh faces joining the tournament, because it's just much more relaxing than having to fly out or travel a long time just to get to a specific place. Yeah, that should be, I think that's the general consensus on the thing. They want the online tournaments to stay, but when these real tournaments come back, they just want tournaments, right? They just want a lot of things to play and lots of choice, and I think I agree too. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, waffled on too long.